I'm Pavitra Tamodran from DAT53 and my registration number is 02DAT19F1101 and I'm here to explain to you about service tax. Anyways, do you know what is a service tax? Let me explain about you. Service tax. Service tax was being introduced back 1 September 2018 to replace GST. Service Tax Act 2018, which is called STA, and subsidiary legislation are related for two regulation, which is Service Tax Regulation 2018 of compounding of offences and Service Tax Regulation 2018 of customs ruling. Service tax is charged and levied on taxable services provided by any taxable person in Malaysia and in the course of furtherance of business. Service tax is not imposed on the service charge but on the cost of goods or service is provided. Let's see how does service tax works. According to Section 7A of the Service Tax Act 2018, service tax is being charged on prescribed services providers, which is to carrying services to customers in Malaysia. For your information, every prescribed services provider must register with RMCD, which is called Royal Malaysia Custom Department. It's just because when their annual turnover for 12 months exceeds 500,000 or 1.5 million for food and beverages operator only. Moreover, in Section 7B of Service Tax Act 2018 is that mentioned is taxable services is provided by the overseas supplier, which is that consume business in Malaysia are subjected to service tax. This service tax is subjected to 6% rate. For service tax there is fixed rate for providing credit cards and charge cards. Currently, an overseas company with no permanent establishment in Malaysia will not able to register for service tax because, however, from 1 January 2020, foreign service providers of digital services to consumer in Malaysia exceeding 500,000 per year will be able to register for service tax. And service tax, there is a fixed rate for providing credit cards and charge cards. For your information, there are exemptions from service tax. This service tax is for certain B2B services and certain intra-group services are excluded from service tax. Next, how to competition for a service tax. Competition for service tax is which is service tax equals to service value times with tax rate, which is 6% rate. The service tax chargeable for services provided is charged when the services delivered by the provider. That's all from me, and my friends are here to explain to you more about service tax. Thank you.
My name is Ravindran Sivakumar. My matrix number is 02DAT19F1027. I will continue with the presentation. On September 1, 2018, Malaysia had reintroduced the Sales and Service Tax (SST), replacing the 3 years old Goods and Service Tax GST. So, can everyone picture what I'm going to present today? Yes, I'm going to talk about the importance of Service Tax 2018. Firstly, the tax scheme will reduce the burden of low and middle class families because only prescribed service providers and service consumers will be taxed. People who do not consume such services will be exempted from taxes and can enjoy substantial savings and live a happy life. Next, Service Tax 2018 is a single stage of consumption tax which is only imposed at manufacturer or consumer level, while GST is a tax on the value added at each stage of production distribution chain and is generically known worldwide as value added tax (VAT). So, business owners will face less taxes with Service Tax 2018 being implemented. Finally, the tax paid on the purchases often cannot be recovered by businesses, and service tax is treated as a cost to business because the government will collect 6% service tax from service providers at the beginning. Thank you for lending me your ears. I hope you can understand my presentation. My friend will continue with the presentation. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and good morning. Okay, I wanted to talk about taxable service. I like to present about what are taxable goods and taxable service. Okay, let's see together.
What are taxable goods and service? Tax on goods and service is defined as all tax levied on the production, extraction, sales, transfer, leasing, or delivery of goods, and rendering of service, or on the use of goods or permission to use of goods or to perform activities. They consist mainly of value add and sales tax.
Okay, we like to talk about type of taxable service. First, we got hotel, insurance and takaful, service of food and beverage preparation, provision of electrics, and clubs. So we are going to see one by one. So let's see. First, we let's see hotel.
Service provided in hotel, which is lodging house, service apartment, homestay, rest house, boarding house, and all service including sale of food, drinks, and tobacco product are taxable service.
Okay, the second is insurance and takaful.
Next, service provider in insurance B2B. So that's all general insurance or takaful B2B and general insurance or takaful B2C, including medical insurance or takaful. So if you guys don't know what is B2B, B2B is business to business, and B2C is business to consumer.
Next, we got service of food and beverage preparation.
After that, service provided is a service of food and beverage preparation, which is restaurants, cafe, catering, takeaway, food truck, retail outlet, hawkers, and all services including prepare of serve food or drinks and sales of tobacco product, alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverage.
Furthermore, we got provision of electricity.
Furthermore, service provider is a provision electricity and to any domestic consumer excluding for the first 60 kilowatt hour for a minimum period of 28 days per billing cycles consumer by that consumer.
And the last one is clubs.
Service provided in club, which is nightclub, private club, golf club and golf, driving range, and the all services including sales of food, drinks and tobacco product are taxable services.
That's all about taxable service. That's all for me. Thank you.
Next, I'm going to talk about service tax registration. I must start with who are eligible to register Service Tax Act 2018. It can be any person in Malaysia who provide taxable service during furtherance of business in Malaysia for a period within 12 months, and whoever exceeds the value of taxable service is eligible to be registered under Service Tax Act 2018. Taxable service are any service listed in the various groups of prescribed in the first schedule of Service Tax Regulation 2018. Besides, any person providing taxable service below the value of taxable service is not liable to be registered but may apply for voluntary registration. Let's talk about value of taxable service. The value of taxable service is defined as the total value of taxable service provided which exclude the amount of service tax, which means the total value of service before tax. For your information, the taxable service groups are under Act is divided into two categories. The first category is A to F, where the service tax includes the provision of all service. Second category is G to I, where it does not include provision of all service. Okay, now look at the example. The example says Hafizi Sinan Berhad provide hotel rooms and homestay in Group A. Calculate the value of taxable service in RM. Okay, the keyword here are hotel rooms and homestay in taxable service. First and foremost, we must look at the taxable service table, also known as the first schedule of Service Tax Act 2018 Group A, because Encik Hafizi only provides service tax that listed in Group A. To be registered under Service Tax Act 2018, Encik Hafizi must provide total service at least 500,000 for a year or 12 months. So now let's look at the example table back. So Encik Hafizi provide hotel rooms and the total value of for 12 months is 700,000. And for homestay, the total value is 500,000. And the total value of both service is RM 1.2 billion. This means RM 1.2 million exceeded the minimum requirement, which is RM 500,000, and Encik Hafizi is eligible candidate to be registered under Service Tax Act 2018. Finally, INSEAD should register hotel rooms and homestay as taxable service because the total service provided, which is 1.2 million, is exceeded RM 500,000. Okay, now let's assume that this is INSEAD. So INSEAD is asking, how do I register for service tax? So registration shall be made online in MYSST portal at www.mysst.custom.gov.my. Applicants are required to complete the information and detail required in the registration form prescribed in the Service Tax Regulation 2018. Registration kiosks also are provided at SST division in all RMCD office throughout Malaysia. So thank you. That's all from me.
Okay, good morning everyone. My name is Samuelson, son of Deodas, and my matrix number is 1099. So, today I'm going to talk about the imposition of service tax. First of all, I'm going to start with who is a taxable person. Taxable person is a manufacturer or a service provider who is registered or liable to register for SST. However, any businesses that are not liable to register or are exempted from the SST registration. A person is liable to be registered if the total value of his taxable services for a 12 months period exceeds or expected to exceed the prescribed registration threshold. What it means by registration threshold? It means a fixed amount of money in that country currency. When your sales pass the threshold amount, your business is required to register for local taxes. Okay, there are many types of group which categories based on the types of business they run and different in threshold amount also. So next, service tax is not imposed on the service charge but on the cost of goods or services provided. The minister may prescribe any services to be a taxable service. Okay, next, the nature of businesses and the type of services subject to licensing and payment of service tax is listed in the second schedule of the Service Tax Regulation 1975. So, payment of sales tax and service tax can be made electronically through the MySST system or manually by check or bank draft, but any payment in cash is not allowed. For payment of taxes online, the maximum payment allowable is as follows. For corporate account payment, the amount is 100 million, and for individual account payment, the amount is 100,000, which is the maximum amount. Okay, so next I'm going to talk about the imposition of penalty for late payment. Okay, where any tax due and payable is not paid wholly or partially by any person after the last day on which it is due and payable, the person should pay a penalty. Okay, so there is a penalty for first 30 days period after the due date, which is the penalty rate is 10%, and second 30 days period after due date, and there is a penalty which is the penalty rate is 15%, and third 30 days period after the due date, so the penalty rate is still same 15% for the second and third, and the maximum penalty is 40% after the 90 days of due date. So that's all from me. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Good morning everyone, my name is Vaishnavi, daughter of Siva Subarao, and my matric number is 1088. So today I am going to talk about the implementation of service tax in Malaysia. First thing is Contra system. Contra system is a registered person is allowed to deduct service tax in his return for any cancellation and termination of services or any other reasons such as reducing premiums or discounts. Move on to the next point, which is SST treatment in designated areas and special area. We can refer to the case under the Service Tax Act 2018. Service tax will be charged based on any provision of taxable services made in the course of furtherance of any business by a taxable person and in Malaysia. Service tax will not be charged on imported and exported services. Under the Sales Tax Act 2018, sales tax is charged and levied on taxable goods manufactured in Malaysia by a taxable person and sold unused or disposed by them, and on taxable goods imported into Malaysia. Sales tax is not charged on goods listed under the proposed sales tax order, and this action prompts clearly what is SST treatment in designated area and special area. Special designated for SST treatment in designated area which are still within Malaysia will be subjected to special treatment in terms of the SST. These areas in Labuan, Langkawi and Tioman. Under the special treatment in regards to the manufacturing activities carried out in these areas, the proposed sales tax will not apply in these areas except in petroleum. SST treatment in designated area, services which are provided between and within these designated areas will not be subject to this service tax except if prescribed by the minister. Exemption from sales tax is applicable except within the following areas in importing to this SST treatment in designated areas. For example, the import of petroleum from Labuan, import of petroleum and motor vehicles from Tioman, and import of marble, petroleum and anchovies from Langkawi. In the provisions of services from PCA to designated areas will be subjected to service tax except if prescribed by the minister. Secondly, from designated area to PCA will be subjected to service tax. From SST treatment in designated area to special areas will not be subjected to service tax. So the next SST treatment in special areas which are covered by the SST treatment in special area tax exemption include the free zone, licensed warehouse, licensed manufacturing warehouse and joint development area. Within these areas, the proposed Sales Tax Act does not apply in regards to the manufacturing activities. Importing into these special areas will not generally be subjected to sales tax except when it comes to the goods in the free zone, which may be subjected to sales tax provided in the proposed special area order. Services which are provided between and within the SST treatment in special areas will not be subjected to service tax unless it's prescribed by the minister. So when it comes to in the provision of services, from PCA to special areas will not be subjected to service tax except if prescribed by the minister. From special area to PCA will be subjected to service tax. From special area to designated area will not be subjected to service tax, and from PCA to free zones or licensed manufacturing warehouse will be subjected to service tax. So that's all from us. Thank you.